The clickety-clack sounds are there for me, not no. They show that I'm here and that I'm, doing stuff in the background, like, research and development, being smart. I've got some lights pointed at my head. They are so fucking bright. They've got little tents on as well. They're so bright. I'm blind. I need less lighty lights. Maybe I just need to get them so they're not so. They're not even that pointed at me. Gonna be fine. I just might be blind by the end of the stream. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm just going to stream for a little bit today. Just say hi, talk about some new stuff, take some questions, just have a bit of a chat with chat. And if you want to ask a question, put question in brackets. It allows me to much more easily pick it out from the chat. And I will take chat from pretty much anywhere, whether it be Discord, on the YouTube comments, Reddit, things like that. Some of that stuff might be pre-grabbed, because of Reddit, can't really take them live on Reddit. I mean, I could, but yeah. And also, fuck you, keyboard. I will beat my keyboard if it's disrespectful. But I hope everyone is doing okay. So, a couple of points of order and news. We saw yesterday that they were working on the procedural tech for caves, caves and sinkholes. God, why is this so hard to click? Bam! Is that the correct thing? It's not like some sort of weird. I couldn't choose a sound being posted, so I decided to use this. Thank you very much, Anio. I love your face, by the way. Mwah. Also, Jerry and a guy called Rogers have both sent me money via a mixture of Patreon and just donations, it appears. Keep up the great videos. Always come to your channel for great info on Star Citizen. Thank you very much, even if you're not here currently. I appreciate that. That was sent a few hours ago. Thank you. But yeah, so I've realised a way to get around Article 11 and 13 is to host your own content on your own sites and then cite them as sources. Now, that is a terrible thing for news sites to do, obviously, in the future, if they're just literally referencing their own content constantly. That would be terrible on videos, but it's more sort of like, I can have the sources linked in a news document and then talk about that as... We'll work something out of Article 11 and 13 come to pass, and they're bad, but, I'm just doing about bullshit. So yeah, they talked about caves. So they've got very early cave tech at the moment, and it's very similar to the procedural generation of stations. They build modular sections of caves, and then they stick them all together, and then they have assets which can appear in different sections of those bits of cave. Again, a little bit procedurally generated, but it will be different every time is the idea, and you'll get some quite elaborate, interesting caves, and they'll generate a few thousand of them, and then pick a few that they like to put around planets or whatever. So, although there's a lot of procedural generation to their content, that's to make it look more organic, and then they still hand place a lot of it, is the idea, because it doesn't take them that much time to do it handcrafted. No, it does. It takes them a long time to do handcrafted stuff, admittedly. And just pure procedural content would be a magnitude or two quicker. However, them having the sort of like more artist-driven stuff is sort of what Star Citizen is about. It's having a high detailed, complex environment that's fun to play in. At least that's the plan. So yeah, it's procedurally assisted, all of this, and hopefully it allows for much more quicker generated stations, caves, cities, and all that sort of stuff, but still has super high quality, and they will tweak it to make sure that it works well. In the future, that might be a lot more procedurally generated. Like they might have the tech and the procedure behind it to work really well. They also talked about the new Gemini S71 assault rifle, which is going to have single fire by default. It's got a scope on it, and it fires burst, but it doesn't have full auto. They've got a high damage 6-shooter, the Coda. Hopefully it's not going to be as broken as the Wingman is in Apex Legends. And what else do we have? The Bounty Defender's been moved to 3.6 from 3.5, so we're not going to have the Bounty Defender in 3.5, which is a shame. There is an RTV later today at 8 PM UTC, so in 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's going to be a game dev special where they're going to be building a piece of armor while chat helps guide them. And we learned a little bit more about Twitch, Pacheco. You can see my phonetic spelling if it's here rather than her actual name. Oh, I need to check. I need to sort my shit out. I'll change that in a minute. Oh my god. But yeah, she's a outlaw mission giver. She's a bit of a badass, and they filmed her voice lines in 2016, and she's looking pretty cool. She's going to be on Arc Corp. She's certainly sassy. Oh my god, someone sent me $20. I like your dollars. James Clear, always informative and helpful news source. Thank you so much for your dedicated to your community. Thank you so much for so dedicated to your community, you sexy bastard. Enjoy lunch on me. I will enjoy lunch on you. I'm going to rephrase your statement to make more sense in my head. Thank you. I love you, Bored. You're a sexy piece of YouTuber ass. It's okay, James. Some of us, don't know. I've got nothing. I'm sexy. That's all I needed. Thanks, James. Thanks for the money as well. Appreciate it. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, James has become a member as well. Yes! I'm promoting YouTube members. Boom! Go YouTube members. They give me money each month. Thanks very much. Appreciated. I'm adding some more emotes so that you can put emotes in my chat. And I'm assuming you can put them in other channels' chats, but you can put them in the comments as well. I have to see if I can put them in other people's comments and chats. But I'll get some ones for like 07s and some more sort of like standard Star Citizen ones, not just BoredGamer ones. Sort of like that might be BoredGamerified, because obviously I don't want to use any Star Citizen assets and then charge for that privilege, if you see what I mean, because that would be against their terms of service for their assets and things like that. But I'll do some like 07 ones and things that are Star Citizen E but aren't Star Citizen assets. You know what I mean? I'm rambling today. I've got a horrible cold. I'm living off max strength flu capsules and airways, the Wiggly's gum that fucking clears your airways out, and antihistamines, and they're allowing me to sort of operate as a human. Yeah, boom. What else is there? Oh, there was today in the Crytek versus CIG lawsuit. Obviously, large portions of that case have now been dismissed, and the core of that case looks to be removed. But there was obviously still some more minor parts of that that Crytek are almost certainly going to push for settlement for as quick as they can. But that the ball and the cogs are sort of like in motion for that, so we might actually see a lot more on this in the next few months. They've got the final pre-trial conference is on the 25th of February 2020, and the jury trial, which is what they requested, would start, if it's not settled by then, on the 24th of March 2020. So it's actually getting somewhere now. Hopefully it will all be done and dusted for when Squadron 42 episode 1 comes out. But I'll report on it once I know a bit more about what's happening with the scheduling order and what stuff's been requested for discovery, things like that. Because it was only, to me anyway, it looked like it was reasonably minor points left in that case. And as you can see from Leonard French and YouTuber Law and people, when they discuss it, they talk about Crytek just wanting to settle, and then not really much left in that Crytek lawsuit after that core got removed. But we will continue to follow it just in case something crazy happens. At worst, I don't think it's going to really affect them financially, unless they've got some sort of like terrible injunction or something. But it's going to be just before Squadron 42 episode 1 comes out, so they wouldn't have to pay anything anyway, even if it's sort of like, you know, was it 1.8 million euros, 1.85 million euros for their original license agreement? that would be the upper limit of any damages they would have to pay CIG, even if it was found in Reddick's favour, which is very unlikely. But we'll have to wait and see. Well, James sent me more money. I love your money. I've lost my mouse cursor. I lost it. It's gone. It's gone. GG. Really whiffed that one. I have no clue what happened to my brain there. News for being so dedicated to. Now you've confused me. I don't know. You love me, James. It's fine. You can send me money through super chats. You can send me money through however medium you want. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks. Right, what have we got? We've got some. Let's see if we've got some questions here. I do think that we're going to be getting a flyable or concept ship at the end of March. Quite like that 07 that some people I've seen using in chat. People seem to really like me smashing my keyboard before the stream. Did you hear anything about the applicability of the F7A upgrade to the Super Hornet Heartseeker? At the moment, as far as I am aware, CIG have not made a decision exactly how the F7A upgrade is going to work, that people bought that Veterans Day in, was it 2013, 2014? However, expect it to just be a skin that would be able to be changeable across a lot of different Hornets. That is speculation. They have not given me an answer. I don't think anyone knows yet. I don't think they've decided what they want to do with it. I think it's too minor and too far down their list. How is my dad at the moment? My dad is recovering very nicely. He's walking around the house now. He's cooking. He's going out for walks and stuff. Unfortunately, the cancer did spread to his lymph nodes, so he does have to go talk to the oncologist. And there's the possibility he might go for chemo, or he might just leave it. He's pretty old anyway. It's a bit shit, but it's not like the end of the world. It's not a death sentence or anything. It's very, very dealable with still. But he had by the operation, had the primary cancer removed. So it's in a lot better state, and it would have been the first step down the getting him fully fixed path. What's my opinion on the Merchantman? The Merchantman, it's been slow going with the Merchantman. Obviously, we don't even have the Defender. The Defender's got pushed back to 3.6, so we don't really know what it's going to look like in forms of architecture and materials yet. Because once we have that Defender, we can actually go, so this is the style of Banu ships and the organic sort of feel of it. I love the idea of the Merchantman. The Merchantman is my favourite cargo trade ship, and it is more a trade ship than a cargo ship, I suppose, although you can use it for both. But the idea with it is that you can sell stuff directly from the ship. There are shops on board, and there's sort of like that more sort of merchanty experience. I love the idea of it. I think it's a cool looking ship. I don't know enough about it until it's in my hands to be able to compare it to like the Hull C, D, and E. Because it might be like, oh yeah, it's a cool ship, but very few people come onto your ship to actually buy stuff, and yeah, there's a negotiation room, but enough gets used. If there's not the gameplay mechanics to go along with it, then it's not going to be great. So as long as it's supported with good enough gameplay mechanics, as long as trade is enough separation from just cargo hauling that the Merchantman becomes valid and useful, then I think it's going to be cool. Have to wait and see. How's everything going? Yeah, okay. Got a cold, bit tired. Sort of worried about my dad a bit, but I'm quite zen about it. Sort of like respecting his wishes, doing what he wants to do. Looking after my parents at the moment is pretty easy. Got them a really expensive takeaway for like 50, 60 quid the other day. I was like, oh yeah, I'll pay for the takeaway. I'll pay for the takeaway. No worries. What are you having? Oh, you're having it from this restaurant. And it's very expensive. Okay, no, that's fine. I did say I'd pay for it. So I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm also planning to go to SnapCon South towards the end of March, to 22nd to 24th of March, I think it is, on the Friday to Sunday. Cameron, I think, is going down as well. My birthday's on the 26th, but I'll take that weekend off because that should be just before the Star Citizen sort of like 3.5 live. I can get away for my birthday, have a couple of days off. Might not be entirely off. If 3.5 does go live, I will at least get some patch notes up and a state of the game as quick as I can. It's in Southampton, so it's in my hometown, this Board Games event. But it's a big Board Games event, conferencey thing, where you just walk around and play board games with lots of people. Some quite complex ones. Is it true that I need to know where the center is on my HOTAS throttle? Don't need to know. Are you talking about in the new flight model? I can't really talk about specifics in the new flight model, nor have I used a HOTAS with it yet myself, which I do need to do this week. As soon as they release more information about the flight model, I will comment on it. Something about Mum's spaghetti is that secrets. His face is red, been congested and stuffy. I know how that look feels. Lol. That was Mum's spaghetti. No, what's going on? As I recall them mentioning there would only be a few caves per moon or planet. Did I hear that wrong? Shouldn't there be lots more? We don't know yet, Game Glass. We don't know yet. They said, so they mentioned in sort of like anecdotally, when they were discussing how they use procedural generation for the caves, is that they generate 1,000 and use 3 of those on a moon. But there could be dozens of them on a moon. There could be a few. It could literally be dependent on the moon or the planet. But it's all in R&D at the moment, and don't know what the final thing's going to be. But I would expect a few dozen of them on each moon or planet, because just of the size of the moons and planets. And they're great for mission content, and they're great for and that sort of stuff, and general points of interest to find cool things and go, oh, there's some interesting loot here. Oh, it's a little pirate base. Oh, it's something's crashed here, or there's some alien tech here, or whatever. Do you anticipate more items being removed from 3.5? Potentially. However, they only mentioned the Banu Defender being moved from 3.5 to 3.6, and potentially we could see something else move or slip or get pushed back. Hopefully not, well, almost certainly not Arc Corp, the flight model, or DNA / female models, female characters. Hope those don't get moved back. And then there's lots of other sort of like quality of life things, new missions, new updates and stuff. Hopefully we don't see anything moved back. I mean, I don't know is the issue. Even if you look at the roadmap, the sort of like tasks complete are not necessarily any indicator of, even if there's just one task left of 200 and they got 199 done the week before, that's no indication that our last task is almost done. That could be the same length or twice as long as all those other tasks put together. And so we can look at stuff and track progress, but we can't track when it comes to finished and completed tasks. We can talk about it and we can speculate. And a lot of the stuff that CIG do when they release news and roadmap information is there to be speculated on. I know that's not great. It's not perfect. It's certainly not the best form of news I'm giving, but it's what we have. So I'll run with that. But I don't expect anything else to be removed. That does not mean that there won't be. Is my face gone? Oh, is my face... No, my face is here. When will quest sharing be implemented? I'm expecting it to be this year. They are working on group improvements, and they wanted mission sharing, quest sharing. They even talked about how exactly it would work. The group leader of any group has access to all the quests that everyone else has in their party, and then they can share one of those as the main quest, and bam, everyone's got it. And anyone can then complete those parts of those quests. However, if you require a quest item to complete a part of the quest, then that quest item needs to get to that particular area or position. If it's for some reason the person that took the quest is important in some way, like they need to be across a line for a scramble race or something, then they still need to be across the line for the scramble race. Can't be anyone in the party then, it will have to be them. So there are some missions which give priority to the original mission owner. There's some quests that have quest items, and there's some quests that will entirely be completable just by completing the objective. Do they have any plans for pirates to be able to sneak and stow away on a ship? Wait for them to complete a mission, then kill them or rob them? How would that work? That would be lots of fun in a team like in Sea of Thieves. So you're going to be able to stow away on ships. We sort of know that. We're not entirely sure how all of the mechanics will work. They've talked briefly about the owners of ships will be able to issue orders and say, anyone that's not in part of my group, anyone that doesn't have permission to be on my ship, you must leave. If that person then does not leave, and is discovered there later, the owners of the ship, the people in that group, can deal with them in any way they want without breaking the law. So they can shoot them in the face. They don't get a criminal rating, is the idea. Stowaways will be treated like that. And yeah, I think the idea is that you could try and murder all those people. It depends where you are in the verse, though. If you're murdering all those people in very, very protected space, then I suppose the police would come along and try and assist that player. It's an interesting one. We don't know entirely how NPCs and police are going to work when it comes to lawful areas and stowaways. Because, for example, your stowaway, you're in Terra. Yeah? Pretty UE policed systems, the idea. You're on a board, a ship, you start murdering people, but you're then locked in the hold or whatever. Do the police come along and try and board that lawful player's ship to try and deal with you? What if you jump in their pilot's seat after locking them all behind, like, the main door? Do the police then shoot on that lawful ship? Just because there's a stowaway that's controlling it, or in one of the consoles or terminals? It's an interesting one. So some of the law systems need to be worked out or really considered. And what happens if you die in a lawful zone because a police ship's rammed you, even though you were a lawful player, or they've shot you and you've got in the way and you've been taken out? Do you lose one of your lives? There's so much balance and there's so much that needs to be discussed and worked out there. I think what I'll probably do is start talking about gameplay mechanics of the future and how I envision them. It will have to be heavy game theory, sort of like speculation. But then we can start taking comments and stuff on that and evolve some ideas. I think it's an interesting idea for a series. I don't want to constantly overly speculate on stuff that we have no fucking information on. I'm okay to speculate on stuff that we do have information on because, you know, we don't know pretty much anything for Star Citizen until it's in our hands. I mean, it could still evolve and change. So, thank you. I am a beautiful bald bastard. You didn't even put the word bastard in there. I just used it. What is the new mission giver's career affiliation? She's ex-Blackjack Security. She's supposed to be a criminal / outlaw. Got associations with the Otani Group. She's in direct competition with a drug boy. What's his name? Guy on Levski. You know how it is. Someone will send me in chat in a second. But him. She's in direct competition with him. She hates Blackjack Security. She's got nerve damage. She's got augmented eyes and an augmented right arm. And she's badass. She's a bit angry. Yeah. That's what I know about her. When do you envisage Crusader or its early stages at least being finished and out in the game? So the landing zone for Crusader is probably reasonably easy for them to do. Urizen is just a floating city in the upper atmosphere above, somewhere in the sky, near Crusader. And they need to finish off their current gas cloud tech and then start working on gas giant tech. And I'm not sure how far the road they are down gas giants, or the tech for it, or how much of the gas cloud tech they can use that they're using to sidestep, or if they're even going to be using any of it. But they talked about it last year, they wanted potentially to get Urizen in this year. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's more sort of like going to be mid next year to have the Stanton system sort of done. I know it's been a long time with the Stanton system, but you can see with a lot of the stuff there that it's the main tech for a lot of this different thing, a lot of these different things. So the procedural truck stops, procedural caves, general procedural planet tech, cities, gas giants, gas clouds, nebula, all the asteroids, all of that. And when that's all built out, they can generate these systems a billion times, magnitudes quicker. A billion times quicker is probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but magnitudes quicker, definitely. If Carrick is love and Carrick is life, when is the next sale, do you think? Do you think it's going to have gone up in price? It will definitely go up. I'm almost sure it will go up in price when it's flyable. Was it $400 at the moment, or was it $450? Yeah, I think it will go up in price when it becomes flyable. I do like Invader Zim. Where's the bacon of the sub? I made it myself! Fucking love Invader Zim. Hi guys, when is RTV? I'm having trouble finding any clock info at all this week. So it's in 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's 8 PM UTC or GMT plus 0. Twitch.tv/Star Citizen. When do you think Star Citizen will enter beta phase? Is that still part of the road to release? So Squadron 42 Episode 1 has a roadmap beta guesstimate date of second quarter 2020. Thank you very much. I love the bits, Delamar. Love your face. Mwah. Oh, Greg Moulton. Thank you very much for the money donated via Super Chat. You could have asked a question as well, and I would have immediately read it. Or say, immediately read it. 7 minutes old, your Super Chat money donations. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. What was I talking about? I've gone. Oh, beta phase. So, yeah, that's beta phase of Squadron 42. Star Citizen is going to release a major update every 3 months. Beta, because of that, is a bit obscured. So it depends how you define a beta, because I don't think they'll say, well, then maybe they will say, well, we're in beta, like Chris will say it, like a presentation or something. I suspect that end of 2021, we might be in a position where we can consider the game a bit more in beta phase. Once Squadron 42 Episode 1's out, though, so end of 2020, the core of the game should be significantly more stable and in place. It's just hard to define what a beta phase is to a lot of people, because I've talked about it before, and a lot of people had a lot of different opinions on exactly what a beta was. Once the game is live and not reset anymore, which I'm thinking is going to be end of 2021, mid 2022, end of 2022, sort of around that. I know it's a year length period. I know that's a big, so like somewhere around here to say, but it's hard to say the Star Citizen because they reprioritize stuff so much. I think that's when some people consider it beta. For me, really, they need all of the major gameplay loops, at least in their first iteration, and that includes jump points. So even if it's just 2 systems and 2 star systems and most, if not all, of the gameplay loops sort of in their first iteration, boom, that would be a beta for me. What do you think about the way CIG is dealing with prioritization? It's a mixed bag. I think they're probably getting better with it. They've been terrible with dates and delays. We all know that sort of part of the project now. That's what the project gets criticized for mostly. I think they're getting better with it. They are starting to genuinely do what they said they were going to do when it comes to the 3 months releases. Stuff does get pushed back from that still. It's taking a long time. Prioritization seems to be better. I mean, it depends on whether you agree with their prioritization this year, doesn't it? So this year, it's mostly Squadron 42 stuff. Some stuff that's very specific to the Persistent Universe still, like ArcCorp and things like that, and Stanton system things. But it is Squadron 42 stuff and getting all of the Squadron 42 stuff, which is like a completed game, all of that into Persistent Universe as well. So all of those core mechanics, all of those finalized or near finalized mechanics for combat, ship flight, vehicles, NPC AI, things like that. Obviously, when it comes to the Persistent Universe stuff, they need to get that then working multiplayer, and there might be some more additions to it as well. But Squadron 42 is the priority. They want it released next year if they can. While we know why they say they uploaded the problematic tutorials, while we know why they said they... What is up with the Buccaneer video that floated back up recently? 2-year-old comments and all? I think that was a video that they accidentally made private or was unlisted that has now been public. The Buccaneer video, so it was public or part of when the Buccaneer originally went live or whatever, they had it as an unlisted video, so people could comment on it if they found the link, and then they've only recently made it public. The tutorials they've uploaded aren't problematic. They just seem poorly timed. 3.5 is about to go live, and they're releasing videos on 3.4. Like, or do you think we'll get the merchantmen before the Banu themselves are available? Yes, I do. I think it's much more complicated to make an alien race, and I'm not sure if the Banu are needed in Squadron 42 Episode 1. They might have pre-rendered Banu, or something like a Banu on a holo display or something, but it's going to be more human and Vandal related, probably. I'm going to sing the Doom song. Doom, doom. Oh my god. You love Invader Zim. Thank you very much, John. I don't know how to say anyone's name, even the people that have been here for years. Bordy, G. Truman. With all of these nods to sci-fi, from 42 to planets to cyborgs, my most pressing question is, when are we going to get hookers with 3 boobs? I do love Total Recall. We haven't had that much in the way of Total Recall references. Maybe on Mars we will. Maybe there'll be some sort of... maybe your head will explode like Arnie himself. But we haven't seen sexy mutants with 3 boobs yet. Stretch goal. Do you think terraforming, in the sense of making underground bases and caves, could be a possibility with the cave systems now being in the universe? No, because I think they're more... Well, they're sort of like more structures underground. I suppose we could have structures underground and stuff that we could build underground. I'm not sure how it differs from building an outpost to then going, well, there's a lift that goes underground. You just need to make sure there's no like clipping or people being able to look through walls to see nothingness under planets. So it's a potential you could have stuff underground. You're not going to be able to terraform planets. The most they've talked about, probably not going to be able to terraform unless they change their mind on that, which is unlikely. It would be madness to do that. They have talked about previously changing the topsoil in areas so that you can farm. And you'll obviously be able to mine, you'll be able to put outposts, place some structures and things. Might potentially be able to have some more undergroundy type things, but we're not sure, and we're not sure how that's going to tie in with the cave system. Yeah, I'd love to build a base in a cave system or a sinkhole. That sounds cool. How do you imagine receiving guests on the 890 jump? Do you think it would have to find a landing pad or station, welcome more than a few or a couple of guests? Well, there's going to be ship-to-ship docking, and there's going to be ship-to-station docking. And there's going to be a little area people can dock. So, yeah, people will be able to link up and come out. Do you feel orgs will progress to the point where they can influence the game on a large scale, i.e. planetary blockades affecting commodity pricing? Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be the mission generation and subsumption system takes all the sort of like missions that are being completed, NPCs and areas, it simulates them all, works out what's going on. There are going to be
tricksy little hobbits.
Blockades. There are going to be commodities like entirely blocked. Thank you very much, Lou Baron, by the way, and thank you very much, Dethan. Dethan. Thank you very much for the subs. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so the people will be able to affect the economy. Maybe not to a huge scale, but they are going to be able to have an effect on it. There is supposed to be sort of like 9 or 10 NPCs for every one player, and a lot of this is all simulated in the background, so that players can have an effect on the economy, but it won't be this sort of like massive out of control ball of economy smashing bullshit. But we need to see how that works in practice, obviously, and that needs a lot of balancing, and could be interesting. So it will be a slightly engineered economy from CIG's point of view. They can take control of it whenever they want, and they can change the simulation on it. So bear that in mind. But yeah, orgs will be able to claim planets and areas. They will just have to enforce that themselves. Large enough org, test, they can probably hold a few planets in lawless zones by themselves. And go, well, if anyone comes in here that's not associated with us, we're going to attack you. But you'll be able to sneak under the radar, you'll be able to land on the planets, you'll be able to do stuff as well if you get away with it. There's no the gameplay mechanics enforcing some of this stuff are going to be literally players saying, I'm enforcing this, or players that have hired NPCs or security or have put land claims down. So land claims are more you place them in UEE space to say, this is my land claim. If you do anything on this land claim that could break the law, and NPCs come along and police NPCs come along and get rid of you or attack you or whatever, you're basically breaking a crime, breaking a law. You're making a crime. You know what I mean? But in lawless space, no land claims. Wild West. Although the Wild West did have land claims. Quiet to you. How in depth do you think medical gameplay will be, especially during FPS combat? I think there'll be various levels of medical gameplay. There'll be dragging of people. There'll be the quick sort of stabbing someone else with a medipen, which we should be getting this year, I believe. So you'll have to jab an NPC or a player with a medipen to get them back up for a brief period of time. And then there's going to be some more in-depth medical gameplay when it comes to players getting healed because of injuries, tier 3 to 2 to 1 injuries. Tier 3 injuries being quite minor injuries, tier 2 injuries being crippled limbs and multiple crippled limbs, and tier 1 injuries being near death. And you're able to stabilize people and things like that. So I suspect there's going to be a reasonable amount of gameplay behind that when it comes to stabilization and stuff. But during combat, medical gameplay, I suspect to be much more fast-paced, dragging people behind an area, stabilizing them, jabbing them with like a syringe or something, maybe bandaging or splinting something, but nothing super complex. Mini games when it comes to the sort of like on-table surgery, tier 1 to 3 medical stuff, that might be a bit more in-depth, but we don't know exactly how it's going to work yet. Hi BoredGamer, what's that video playing in the background? So this one is the 2016 V2 Planets demo. This is on Layer 3, which, as far as we know, hasn't seen any more work since then. However, obviously all the procedural generation tech and the biome tech's improved and changed. So Layer 3, when they go back to it, which is in the Layer system, will look a lot better. And I just want to occasionally highlight some videos like this. It's got the sandworm in it. It's got the first time we've seen the javelin wreck in it. Had some derpy NPCs, which were mega derps. And it's don't mind the dedication to the audience. I mean, I'm driven by my audience. Like, the more connection I have with people, the more I chat to people, the better my channel will do. It's not purely altruistic. It's in my best interest to connect with viewers, talk to them, allow conversation beyond what my beliefs are and things like that. So people have different opinions on things. People are really like, Star Citizen scam. I'll let them say that. As long as they're not being so abrasive that they're just being absolute cockbags. Then I would probably ban them or censor them. But I hate censorship in pretty much all its forms. I'm not an absolutist, but I am, I suppose, reasonably close to that. Comes to news anyway. When do you think we'll see more random FPS AI encounters that's not related to missions, like crash sites more randomly in different places? Yeah, so there's got to be these modular pieces and encounters, isn't there, as part of missions and as part of just you moving around the verse. So this is interdictions, this is detecting a beacon or other just things to detect around to then go what's this? Oh, what's this over here? Oh, my scanner's picked up this. But also when you're going, like driving around planets, there could be little NPC, pirate bases, or NPCs looting the ship that you're coming to, things like that. They are being added. We'll start to see more and more of those every patch, I'd expect. I'm not too fast at the moment, I'll tell you that. Well, I've never heard that complaint. Oh my god. Do you think the new 300 customization feature via the website will be usable for existing 300 owners? I don't know. They might get a token. If it's not, then you just melt your 300 series and buy the new one. Yeah? Oh my god. I hate you, Simon. I hate you, Simon Morris. Not even going to read your comments. Will some local police work with pirates to deal with you as a defender like they would do in real life criminals? There might be informants within the pirates that are NPC things. There might be pirates which are actually working with the police in missions. I'm not sure how that will be simulated in missions. I suspect you'll see things like that or implied like that in the game. We don't have any information on midget hookers yet. I will ask next time I'm in the office store. Oh my god. Any news on when we're about to hire AI crew? This is interesting, actually, that you said this, as well as any news on the Orion coming to the game. No news on the Orion coming to the game. We know that it's doubled in length. It's fucking huge now. That ship is an absolute beast, but it's not on the roadmap at the moment. It's a giant super miner. I suspect they'll want to get their mining, minables tech and asteroid tech in order before they even consider putting the Orion in game. Because they also then need to work on the way the Orion works properly, and they probably want all of the sort of like systems for physicalized components and stuff like that, so the cargo and the asteroids can travel to the correct parts of the ship and it can be sorted. So there's quite a lot going on with the Orion, so probably quite far in the future. Probably a couple of years sort of thing for the Orion, maybe. Any news on hireable AI crew? Now, the reason I said that was interesting is because I'm actually writing a video on that at the moment. And so their AI hireable crew is not on the roadmap at the moment. However, there are things on the roadmap for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, which are AI crew related, NPC related. So they need to get the AI working and smart for lots of different scenarios, both FPS and utilizing systems individually on ships. And then once they get that and they get that working multiplayer, and then they work out the lightweight simulation of NPCs that they want, because basically when NPCs are not being rendered visually, they very well may be being entirely simulated. So you might have some NPCs in your engine room on your capital ship that aren't really existing in the same way. They're operating all the systems, they're simulated operating the systems there, but they're not all physicalized around your ship. And they might use much more lightweight AI or whatever for them because of that. So they need to sort all these systems out before we can have hireable NPC crew. So we don't know when that's going to be. That's going to be a bit in the future, definitely after Squadron 42's release. Now, or almost definitely, can't talk in 100% definites. Now, what might become for that is AI modules. Now, AI modules and blades are going to be things that you can put in turrets or your computer system on your ship that allow certain systems or turrets to be controlled by a derpy AI, which will then have very basic, sort of like shoot all missiles that come and approach you, or shoot all targets that are enemy that approach within the certain range. So very derpy sort of controls. Now that probably doesn't take as much effort because that is very basic AI. They don't have to be simulated walking around your ship. They don't actually have to be there. They don't have to have 24-hour schedules. They don't get they're just a billion times more simple. So that is likely to be in before NPC crew, in my opinion, and that you could see potentially next year or something. Again, speculation. You can see my thinking there, yeah. But Rich, your speculation with no fucking clue is worth 20 normal people's speculation with some fucking clue. G. Truman, I appreciate your comment. However, speculation, when people don't think it's speculation, is dangerous, I think. So I do speculate on news and on information we're given, but I do try and make that clear that that's what I'm doing. Obviously, I want to have a news. I want to cover Star Citizen in all its forms. And I want to cover that in news, I want to cover that in gameplay, I want to cover that in actual and tangible meta numbers. Once we actually have patches, I want to play the game, I want gameplay, and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of Star Citizen is how bits are evolving and how we expect it to evolve. So speculation is part of that, and talking about even what's going to be in a patch, even when they've said, is sort of speculation. Thank you very much, Mantis. 420, woo! Fucking mate. Blaze those bits. I'm cool, I'm down with the kids. Would you be interested in having your videos translated into French? I could help. The French community is big, but the English community is not their strong suit. Enzo, yeah, let's talk about that. So, Enio, no, how do I pronounce your name? Ariani, I can't remember how to pronounce your name now. Tell me the day. He does my videos into Spanish. He does translations, subs for them. So I would be interested in it in French as well. I'm actually learning to read and speak German again. I say that, I mean, I haven't done it in the last 4 months. I started last year, and I went, I'll do it when I've got some more time. But yeah, so a good idea would be to have my videos with accurate subtitles for French, German, and Spanish. I would like that. Trina Nair, who plays Twitch Pacheco, is awesome. Is she on TV over there, Rich? I don't know. I love her voice, though. I recognise her voice. Will they move Port Olisar when Orison arrives on Crusader? Oh, I see what you mean. No, so I think Port Olisar is going to become more of a large truck stop. So we've got small truck stops in game at the moment. They want large space stations as well, which are large versions of that, which have a bit more, like more stores and things on, and more landing pads. So Port Olisar will probably just revert over to one of them and be a station that's nearby Crusader. We might move it in a bit, though. BoredGamer, can you please reflect on that video is reflecting off your big, beautiful... how is it really quite reflecting? It's just how I'm built. I've got a reflecty head. I've got to deal with it. Beautiful. It's bald. Is there a way to jettison commodity cargo from a ship while in space? Not at the moment. No. That might be something in the future. You might be able to turn off your cargo plates and open the cargo bay door. There is going to be explosive decompressions, or at least they've got them planned. There's a room system, which would mean that when you decompress an area, it would suck all the cargo out if it wasn't locked to the floor. Do you think CIG will create a PTU version of the Javelin with all the modular blades and modules? 1,000 owners is a pretty small number of people to justify all that design work. It'll be available in the game to purchase. There will be NPCs with them as well. And I suspect you'll see more and more versions of the Javelin as time goes on, more people buying them. Is the majority of the Vandal fleet complete? I couldn't words that. I believe that the majority of the Vandal fleet is complete or near completion for the needs of Squadron 42 Episode 1. There may be some extra ships that are needed beyond that for Episode 2 and the Persistent Universe and stuff. However, when I say complete, I mean complete for Squadron 42. That doesn't mean like the Kingship has its full internals. In fact, it probably has very little of its internals done. Some of these ships won't need those internals done because you don't go there on Squadron 42. And Squadron 42 isn't fully on rails, but it's got a large portion of it on rails, or at least it's pulling you back to the road. Go to the road side, and you can have a look in this forest nearby. But there's a sea all around. I'm not sure where this simile or metaphor is going. What do you think medical gameplay will be like with FPS combat? We talked about that. They are still working on making the Truly dive bar. They are still working on making the Truly dive bar. What are your personal thoughts on what you'd like to see them do there? Movie examples? What? Are you talking about trashy bars and just sort of like workman's bars? It's going to be dependent on the planet. So some of them I want to be sort of like very Blade Runner-esque. Some of them, yeah, I would like to be maybe Total Recall, but I suppose without the strippers. There's certain elements of the game that probably won't happen. Obviously, they won't have children in the game. They're probably very, very unlikely to have any sort of like very sexy things in game, like strippers and stuff. They might imply it. They might imply it's sleazy, but they probably won't have any super sleazy stuff. Bear that in mind. They want the game to appeal to as many countries as possible, at as lower age range as possible, and to create as probably the least amount of sort of like odd contention when it comes to, oh my god, they're objectifying people because they're attractive. How dare they? That sort of stuff that you see. With the new cave system, do you think we're about to reenact the plot of Goonies? Oh, I love Goonies. What a good film. Chester Copperpot, mate. Oh my god. Rocky Road? Oh my god. I'll do that. If we can, I will do the truffle shuffle. Don't you worry. Will Port Olisar disappear once the floating city at Crusader will be implemented? As I said, I think it will become a large truck stop. It might move a bit, but can we expect the first iteration of Science next year? Science is a huge range of other gameplay loops. We might see some of those at some point potentially next year, although I do think that Science is going to be dealt with probably a little bit later than even that. I think caves will be a great addition to the game, a very good reason to use ground vehicles too, but don't you think the entrance looks a bit too unnatural and identifiable? Yes, in the moment, in the R&D tests, they literally had a entrance which was just a big gate, a stupid looking gate, which then the rest of the cave was generated from. So yeah, they need to work on that. Sinkholes look pretty cool, but the way that the caves, like the entrance generates, they need to work out ways that it can blend into the terrain. Is it true that Chris Roberts has used up all his funding or add another 6 years for waiting for the game? No, that's highly not true. They spend their funding. They actually have the financials available to see on the Cloud Imperium website. Yeah, they looked like they had a healthy, was it 6 to 14 million? Like estimated it's like 12 to 14 year in reserve, plus the 46 million they also have, I think. We've only seen up to 2017, and 2018 was their best year for funding. But they are spending that money. They are using that money to employ more staff. No, they are not. They haven't used up all their funding. An odd thing to say. They'd rein back the employing hundreds and hundreds of devs. Although I do suspect once Squadron 42 Episode 1 is out, and they are doing a concerted push for that, to try and get that out in 2020, it looks like, I do suspect they will then rein back on some staff. Like they might go from like 500, 600 employees to 400. I think that's very, that happens in the industry. They might try and keep as many of the staff on as possible, but they need to justify that. So a reasonable large org should be able to hold a system without too much of an issue by camping, laying large amounts of mines at the jump points discussed. We don't know if mines are going to be a thing. I hope they are. I do like the idea of mine layers. I mean, obviously mines are going to affect their ships as well. So they can't just put them at jump points. They're going to have to enforce that. They want Star Citizen not to be a remote sort of protection experience. You will be able to place turrets and things, but they want everything to be a bit more tactile and a bit more sort of like there. So if you're defending somewhere, you'll have to be there defending it, or hire someone to defend it. It's not going to be sort of like entirely automated in all situations. But yeah, I think orgs will be able to say that they are blockading a planet or a jump gate or whatever, and they can enforce that. Great. If they can't, well, people will break through. Sir, have you seen or know when scanning like the Aquila scanning radar has some sort of gameplay or usefulness in game? So this is more exploration and science combined. No, I don't know when it's going to have more of a specific use for that in game. However, there are going to be various scanner types, and we have seen the blob scanning. We have that already. So you literally send out a scanner ping, boop, and it will detect areas of interest. Goes, oh, there's something over here. There's something over here, and then eventually we'll be able to tweak our scanners for more precise things, like I'm looking for minables, or I'm looking for this type of single, or I'm looking for IR, or I'm looking for EM. Once we get the new flight model, will Star Citizen be a scam? Asking for a friend. I hate you, Mantis. I love you because you give me so much money, but I hate you at the same time. I've got an amazing April Fool's joke lined up based on that question. So they have land claims where you can build an outpost and that kind of thing. But will there eventually be houses, apartments, complexes, and places like Terra to purchase and rent outside of Habs? Yes, there will be. The plan, as I'm aware, is for people to have physicalized housing, apartments, hangars on some of those larger planets, and you'll either rent them or buy them or whatever. Probably rent. You think it'll be a thing to hide stuff like ships and vehicles inside caves, giving it less of a signature? Yeah, I think that distance, and if you have to penetrate through rock and stuff, that will affect signature. So yeah, I do suspect that people will hide vehicles, potentially bases and buildings if they allow it, or vehicles or ships or whatever inside sinkholes. Now with the Banu Defender removed from 3.5, do you think we'll get another big ship in its place? No. We might see like a surprise flyable ship in 3.5 they hadn't told us about before, or a concept sale going on at the same time, but it's, again, speculation. When you're doing your videos, do you have a complete script you are presenting, or is it speaking free off some notes? So I have some parts scripted, some parts just bullet points, yeah, and then it's linked to notes. Because then what I do is I go through all of it after I've recorded a video and go, I missed a point out, and add a bit, like cut a bit and add a bit in, or whatever. It's pretty rough and free form. And then you see my edited script or bullet points or whatever I post up on my website as sort of like an article, and I edit it again so it reads more like an article. Like, I like people fighting over giving me bits and donations. Thanks, guys. Bored, do you think the community team is really stepping up? So, yeah, I had a little bit of a rant the other day about I don't think the community content that we get, the videos, and the rest of the community sort of like engagement is worth the $3 million+ that they get from subscriptions each month to make that content. Obviously, with subscription money, which is the $10 and $20 voluntary donations that people give for. It does pay for other stuff as well. So it does pay for them to make subscriber flare. It does make them pay for them to make jump point and some other bits. So all the subscriber perks paid for it, but also reverse the verse and around the verse. And because they got rid of calling all devs, and because there's not enough other community engagement, I just feel like that's not worth $3 million a year, is it? It's like they need to be producing a load more videos to make that money like worthwhile. At least bring back calling all devs, and at least give us another show as well. Like, originally with Around the Verse, I was expecting them to shorten the Around the Verses down to like the 15-minute episodes we now have over the last couple of weeks. Quite enjoying them. But then the extra fluffy pieces, or the deep dives, or the let's look at sound for a long period of time and interview people, I was expecting that to be a separate show. They actually said that it was going to be a separate show, I believe. That we were going to get weekly or every so often. But we haven't got that, and it's such a shame. Like, we want that. I'd like to see ship shapes once a month in addition to their content. I'd like to see lots of other stuff. They've got the money for it. Get more community managers. Get more video content managers. I mean, Disco can't do it all himself, obviously. He needs to take holidays sometimes. He does a great job with what he's done. I think it's a travesty that they've got rid of Calling All Devs. I think that was one of their best, if not their best show. Reverse the Verse today should be probably a good one. I like the game dev ones, but I want to see more, not less. Them saying they're trying new things. Well, yeah, listen to your community. I'm pretty sure that it's near universally accepted that Calling All Devs was good, right? I mean, maybe I'm just in my own little fucking echo chamber. Apologise if I am and I'm misrepresenting people's points of view. I try not to. I genuinely try to look at lots of different people's points of view, and then base some of my content on that as well, and then talk about different things. But can you fly to the night side of a planet from a base on the surface? Why wouldn't you be able to get up in the atmosphere and fly? Yeah? Why didn't they release Horizon before Microtech? Because it's core tech they need to do for gas giants. And they want to complete out their city generation tech. They started it with Hurston, city generation, and they want to finish it with ArcCorp. Well, I say finish it. They want to advance it with ArcCorp, which is going to be one of the most, if not the most, actually, city and built-up human planet. and that's going to go to Microtech. Microtech is complicated in some ways, I suppose. So you could argue maybe they should go and get Orison down before Microtech, but it's just the domed building. It's just different architecture and super high-tech architecture. But Orison requires gas giant tech to get done. So obviously they've decided that Microtech is easier to do or more important to do. Das ist wunderbar indeed. I do want to learn German properly. Oh no! See, I can read the simplest German, but Lou Baron, come on, that's going. Oh my god, there's so many different words here I don't know, and there's umlauts going on here. Do you think the community has changed over the last years? Oh, a massive amount. I think the community engagement, the community, it's all changed. Community's grown a huge amount. Community engagement's changed. CIG doing less and less wrong, which is great. Star Citizen's becoming a bit more mainstream because it's obviously starting to deliver on its promises. It's much more transparent now, especially with the financials going on. You can see the criticism for Star Citizen is significantly less. And when there's something very minor, you get the trolls still going rattling at the gates. But it's sort of like it's kind of proof that they're in their dying breaths of like, oh shit, there's not really much to talk about Star Citizen. There's not much to talk about Star Citizen because it's dead. That's the sort of thing they'll say. But the community's changed. I think it's become much more mature. There's lots more communities developing around like different organizations and Reddit. There's lots of grudges being held by different organizations. Lots more tensions. Lots more. There's lots going on, and like obviously CitizenCon has actually become a proper fan fest now. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the community. I mean, I'd have to do a huge amount of research and a huge whole like video series on it to talk about the community, but I think it's cool. It's awesome. It's one of the things I love about the project, the way it's evolving and the way the community's sort of like turning out. When the hell is 3.5 PTU coming out? We could start to see it as early as the end of, the end of next week maybe, but I think it's much more likely to see it sort of like on Friday, Thursday 21st, Friday the 22nd sort of time. Will the Honey do mining like the Orion? No. How do you see group player participation now and in the future? How do you see a group doing cargo transportation? Only the owner of the ship makes money. I see a more robust contract system and a group system where you can share the amount of money you make. You can actually have contracts with people and saying, once I get hit from here to here, bam, you get paid, or every minute that you escort me, you get 15 UEC. There's lots of ways you could do it. But yeah, I see groups getting paid and lots of different systems to sort of like enable that, whether that's a one-off contract or everyone in the group gets an equal share of any money that's generated. So that cargo on the mag plate shows up on the manifest. Do you think the Valkyrie with no mag plate might end up as the biggest smuggler ship in the game? Oh, Ted, I think that's a good idea. People are complaining a lot about the Valkyrie not having any cargo space, but I mean, I suppose it does have a load of cargo space. It's just unsecured cargo space. Do I think the community team is doing a good job, a $3 million worth a year good job? No, at the moment, we're not getting value for that. I mean, we're getting, like, I don't know, $500,000's worth. I mean, we're not even getting that, in my opinion. They need to add a load more content. I think that's universally accepted. More. Give us calling more devs back, add another show or two, get devs or a community manager or someone more involved on the forums, answering questions, talking to people. We want more community engagement. Regarding making your videos more available to the French community, I could do subtitles or voiceovers. Should I contact you to see what you'd like? How do you want me to get in touch? Just email me, contact@BoredGamer.co.uk. We can chat. I'm a little bit erratic at the moment, but I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. Anyone heard when or if the EVA stick to ship mag boot replacement discussed a while back will be coming online? So that's the gravity tech, and that's basically your EVA suit jetpacking down to simulate gravity, so it's instead of mag boots. I can't remember when that's coming. I thought I saw it on the roadmap. Star Citizen. Would it be under gameplay? Mag Boots 3.8. Mag Boots 3.8. It's not actually Mag Boots. It's your EVA pack, jetpacking down, expending fuel, so it simulates gravity so you can walk on stuff. It's otherwise known as Grav Boots, but it's simulating artificial gravity through jetpackery or EVA packery. So 3.8, that's ended December this year. I'm looking forward to pets as well. I suspect first iterations of pets will be like pets in terrariums, maybe an aesthetic parrot or monkey or something on your shoulder. Will 3.5 come to wider PTU today or tomorrow? I mean, the earliest I'd expect to see it, the earliest would be end of next week. First wave. Does the delay of the Defender mean the Banning Merchantman will also be delayed to the next quarter? Not necessarily, but potentially. I suspect the Banning Defender team will need the they need the Defender done before moving on to the Banning Merchantman again, but I'm not sure. Bored, just got home and jumped in. What do you want from caves? Underground bases, shops, hangars? At the moment, I want them as points of interest. Thank you very much. Boyd Dark. And also, thank you very much, Techno Toad, mandatory shekels to my man, Board. Thank you very much for your subscriptions and your monies. Mantis, thank you very much for the WoW bits. Dalamars, thank you very much for the WoW bits. Shout out to Classic WoW. Woo! I probably will be playing some Classic WoW. I'll see if G wants to play as well. And I think Mantis was talking to me about it the other day. Classic WoW was better, but this is Star Citizen. Special thanks to Mantis for his motivational techniques. Cat sitting on the control consoles for the win. Yes, the Discord has become a bit overrun with cat pictures, but it's okay. That's actually what I want in some of the sections. When it comes to caves and sinkholes,
I am going to buy so
in the short term. Oh my god.
Love you and your videos as much as I love Star Citizen. BoredCube.
Thank you for all the board cubes. And I love you as well, J by Max. Thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. Kisses. When it comes to sinkholes and caves, in the short term, I want them as places for missions so that NPCs spawn there, mission content's there. You might have a part where you go into a cave. I want them as areas that you can scan down. Maybe there's a little pirate base or a little encounter there, or whatever. Some NPCs hiding or just some loot that's like stashed there. The exploration of it would be pretty cool, and you could have science and that sort of gameplay there, where there's sort of like an interesting mineable maybe, or you could have 4 minables as well. But you know, plant life or something there that you have to scan down, or you can get some more interesting bits on. You can save the map data and sell it. But yeah, potentially I'd like to see underground bases that can be built. Maybe depends on how big these caves are going to be, but I don't think that's essential. Do you think all ships with actual landing gear and thrusters for it should be able to, with some struggle, leave Earth-like gravity if no cargo's on board? Please do speculate. I think most will be able to, on Earth-type gravity. Ones with a landing gear, it makes sense for them to be able to. That makes sense. In recent tutorials, why on earth did they show the wrong way quantum travel? I can't remember. I haven't looked at the quantum travel video. Well, I have, but I've only listened to it rather than watched it. Yeah. Nasty. Continuous Imperator Scrub subscriber for the last 3 years, and I agree with you 100% on the lack of content board. Yeah, it's just not worth the money you're putting into it. Like, the individual rewards for subscriptions may be worth it for some people. You're helping support CIG, and you're getting these subscriber perks. There's quite a few of them. However, the amassed amount of over 3 million a year, I believe, I think we're not getting our money's worth with that. It should be being spent on what we said it's being spent on, which is video content, community engagement, and the subscriber perks. But maybe it's getting spent on tutorials as well. I wouldn't be too angry at that. I don't think the tutorial was a good idea, but at least the money's getting spent on something that they said it was sort of going on. Someone suggested to me that they might be going on events. Well, they sell tickets to events, and the events generate them a huge amount of money. Like CitizenCon, maybe it is partly supported with that. They need to say that it's partly supported by that, because it's not listed as being supported. But I'd rather just have more content. Hello, my friend. What do you think about the meager and frankly pretty mess subscriber content that's given to us that we loyally contribute on a monthly basis? What would you change when it comes to monthly fare given to subscribers? Thank you very much. I mean, not necessarily think there's a huge problem with the flair and stuff they give. I would like to see more sort of like more cool exclusive skins and for weapons and armor and ships and that sort of stuff, and cool little flair items that they can do. But it's more sort of like I want more video content. That's what I want. I mean, obviously I'm a vested interest because I can make news on that. But that's sort of like what I want my subscriber money to go towards. Do you think they are doing Microtech? Is going to be used to start work on dynamic weather systems. Microtech has some extreme weather, correct? Yeah, I mean, it has snow and wind. I think there's one dude working on weather all the time at the moment, dynamic weather. I'm not sure how far he is along with it, but I suspect they will start showing us about it soon. Obviously,
I'm going to buy so many spaceships.
Oh, poor Duck. Boy Duck, thank you very much for this donation without any question or anything else added. It's just money. Just chuck fucking money at me. I was just about to throw the Shadow Ghost at me, which I need to plug in and try with 3.5 as soon as 3.5 goes to PTU. But yeah, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so don't know when we're going to see dynamic weather. I'm not sure how far it is along. Might be like something they show in the next week's ATV, or it might be over a year out. Could it be that the last CitizenCon and its debacle regarding streaming on their own website and Twitch, and us viewers initially paying for it, was the reason we see so little content now? I mean, I don't think so. They quickly reversed the decision on the let's charge BlizzCon priced tickets, or sort of like we're BlizzCon. That's basically what the attitude they have, which is fine for them to try and do BlizzCon once they have some released products. Not when they're trying to promote the game. Hey man, how was Starship Trooper? I've got the book somewhere in my room or downstairs. I haven't read it yet, Tobliff. Thank you for telling me to get it though. It's something else that's just being used as like a doorstop. I will read it at some point. How many boards could the Mongols hoard if Mongols hoarded got bored? Oh my god. Hello, that's the question now. Why is there only one city/mainland zone on each planet? Are the planets to change that? They are going to add some more areas to these planets. Some of them might have multiple landing zones. Some of them might have just extra districts to their planets. Some of them might only have one landing zone. Some of them, like ArcCorp, will have a landing zone and then detached zones that you can go to and move around with their transit system. Bored, why do you want to learn German if there are other languages which are easier? There's a huge German community. I found I used to be able to speak German and read German reasonably well when I was like 15, 16, so 17 years ago or so. And I quite like it as a language. I've got lots of German friends. But yeah, Spanish and French. The Spanish, French, and German, the languages that I'm interested in, because, you know, I talk to people that know those languages very regularly in the Star Citizen community. I think it's worth saying that yesterday's announcement about the Defender, while frustrating to hear, was well delivered both in time and actual verbiage. Do you agree? Yes, JP's eyes. I do agree. I want them to be more honest and sort of like, bam, this is what's happening. And that was good because they went, you'll see on the roadmap that we are changing this tomorrow. Boom. Can I join your Star Citizen org? If so, how do I apply? If you go into organisations on the Star Citizen website and search for BoredGamer, you are more than welcome to apply there. I will be using the BoredGamer org as a social org soon. There will be no commitment to that other than when we are doing stuff together, you'll have to take orders to a certain degree. There'll be a structure behind it. And that structure might be you can fucking do pretty much anything as long as you don't, you know, troll or something. But some of it might be a bit more ordered, like we are just doing this particular mission, don't ram each other, work together, or it's this team versus this team. And I will push away people that are being disruptive in those events and not use them for those sort of events. I want to have this will also be a system for using the community javelin. I want everyone to be able to mess around with the javelin once we have it in going, because obviously I've got one, and that's from referrals. I've already purchased Squadron 42. Does that cover part 1, 2, and 3? Or just cover part 1, and I need to buy part 2 and 3? Assuming you bought Squadron 42 past a certain date, it only covers episode 1, episode 2 and 3, as far as I'm aware, are their own sort of like AAA games, and rather than being parts, 2 and 3 are like Half-Life 1, 2, and 3. They don't. One of them doesn't exist, or are like standalone big mission packs for it. Random side question: do you happen to know when Shadow PC is going to be fully available nationwide in the US? No, I do not. Brother's still waiting for one of those states that are still left out. No, I don't. I can ask them and see what information they can give me. I will start to have a section so that people can ask questions about Shadow, probably in my Discord, because I am championing their stuff. I do love Shadow. I think it's a great alternative for a lot of people that can't afford to buy a gaming PC, can't maintain one, don't want to upgrade, or are constantly on the move, or whatever. So. Dominic, do I need help learning German? I could help. Would be an honor. We can keep in touch. I'll sort of work it out a bit later. Not going to confirm or deny anything yet. It might be good to speak to someone in German that knows I'm learning regularly, though. So maybe it's probably quite a good idea. Bored watching either Star Trek Discovery or The Expanse. I watched the first season of The Expanse. Really liked it, but I haven't watched anything more of it since then. Star Trek Discovery, I got through the first season and I felt out of breath, out of like, oh my god, this is shit. So I was not enjoying that. The Expanse I loved. Do you think the 890 jump, first capital ship, will make it into 3.6? That's the plan. The plan is to have it in 3.6, isn't it? So I think it'll make it there. We pushed it back before. I think they can make it there. You think they will put Jump Town at the bottom of the cave? No. They might have other things similar to Jump Town, though, like that. Will we have smaller bombs that we can mount on the Gladius, for example? They're sort of like missiles and torpedoes. They could potentially have small bombs. Did you know a fellow YouTuber is being trolled and he is losing people because ruin his name? I don't know what that means! Have you seen or read Altered Carbon? I watched Altered Carbon and really loved it. I loved the visuals. I loved Poe. I thought it was very, very cool. What did you feel about the idea of digitized consciousness in Star Citizen with life insurance for new bodies to avoid permadeath? It feels very much like Eve then, doesn't it? There's an importance in Star Citizen that's sort of like supposed to be at the core of the game, which obviously isn't yet, which is supposed to be that you don't want to die, your life matters, risk and reward and all that sort of stuff. So they need to have that sort of core concept there, that mortality is important, that sort of stuff, and keeping yourself alive is important. So as long as they can capture that in some way, I'll be happy. That could be different to what they've already got planned for Death of a Spaceman. I'll get a video back up on that again soon. If the Mad Boots are expending our EVA packs, will we probably end up running out of power or fuel? Yeah. How will we recharge these? Yeah, they could be like fuel intakes. They could be solar panels. I'm not entirely sure. They could just charge back over time. I suspect we'll see charging stations and things like that in lockers and ships anyway. The idea is, yeah, that they're expend their charge, power, or fuel. In the full permanent game, will minables regenerate? Yes, I believe they will. Like semi-spawn. I have a link to the video I'm rolling in the background. YouTube. It's quite an old video. It's a 2016 one. Procedure Planets version 2. Procedural. Citizen Planets. 2. Well, GameSpot can get the fucking click. Fuck it. Bam. That's a link to that. Hi there, we need flare fish for subs. What? I don't know what that means. Flare fish? Stop and take my money. Oh my god, give me money. When do you think we will see improved cloud tech? They're working on it. We're going to see updates to Squadron 42 relatively soon, I'd expect. And we'll see more and more of that in there. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love of my face, Craig. Do you think Chris has a set number of ships and gear that will only be available in-game at launch? I feel it's important for late-game gameplay loops. No, I think he's going to keep on expanding it, even after the game's released. Do you think repair ships will be able to repair land vehicles? Yes, I do. But I also think there will be specific vehicles for salvage and repair as well. Any idea why the character pipeline is involved with the Defender? Is it because it's being sculpted? I'm a bit confused what you mean by that. Did they say that? I know it's organic, but organic stuff. It's the first organic ship that they're sort of releasing. Biomechanical, you know what I mean. Sorry, I'm going to phrase all this because I got all my words confused. It's the first sort of like biomechanical organic-y ship that they're releasing. No glaive rework for Squadron 42. We might see the Vandal get a bit of a facelift for Scythe and both. Do you expect the law system in 3.6 to address players stealing ships, or do you think it's going to be addressed in a different release? Oh, I don't know. I suspect it will be a bit better in 3.5 and 3.6. But it's an iterative process, especially for that. With the past couple of years, I've noticed discussion and some potential data mines for a Xi'an cargo ship. Yeah, we'll see a Xi'an cargo ship. We'll probably see a Tavaran cargo ship. Something similar. Vandal ones. I was curious if this is something that has been officially disclosed by CIG. I think I'll get our hands on it in the Persistent Universe. I think it's probably something they'll start to see in Squadron 42, like episode 2 or something, or 3, or something that's a bit further out. We'll say Season 2 of Discovery has been awesome so far. Okay, I will check it out. But this is my not convinced face. The Eradicator has a troll who named himself similar and goes around griefing and being a jerk. No. I'll check it out. I've seen the Eradicator stuff. I didn't know he was being trolled. And what if he set up the trolling himself? I don't know. I might look into it. Do try and keep my pulse on as much as I can. I've heard rumours that Port Solid itself is going away or being replaced with a different level design. Can you confirm and dispel this rumour? Yes, I believe that's true. I believe it's going to be replaced by the large truck stop, procedure-generated truck stops. We've got the small ones in game at the moment. They're going to make bigger ones that are Port Olisar sized, and it might be reasonably similar to Port Olisar, but I suspect it'll be more sort of like a shopping mall. Actually even be able to service a lot more ships than Port Olisar can at the moment. Did we have any information about how stealth gameplay will work? Will it be just be lowering heat signature, or will there be elements of camouflage and cloaking? There's not going to be cloaking in the game. You might be able to get some armor and some specific items and gear that has lower signatures, but it is literally signature management. That is how you can be seen from cross section, literally visibly sighted. You can be seen from IR, and you can be seen from EM. So electricalness and heatiness. Do you think we will get a fighter sale with the new flight model? I think we'll see a flyable 3.5 ship sale, and maybe some other ships with that as well. Regardless of pastries coming into the game, by the way, I hate you, do you think that ladders and other aspects like ladders be done simpler? Ladders and ladders. I mean, it's kind of a stupid question, but why the hell are they doing this? I mean, the ladders are hell at the moment, aren't they? I'm not sure why they are so hell. Because they want, I don't know, they want fully interactable, weird things where you grab onto them and pull yourself up. I just hope they get them fixed at some point. They don't kill you. I've now heard the Polaris is a limited resource. You can't use the buyback facility if you melt it going forward. I don't know if that's true or not. I've not seen that myself. You're able to get one in game though, and they'll go on sale again at some point, almost certainly. When we can start farming, will you open an eggplant farm? No, it will be potatoes. I'll literally just jam my head in the ground. When do we think more specifics regarding medical, the Apollo and exploration Carrack systems, especially with the preview of the cave system? We don't expect specifics about them anytime soon. Obviously, the Carrack is planned to be done this year, so between now and 3.8 for the Carrack. But I want to see some deeper dives into the medical gameplay, into exploration gameplay, into all of the sort of design documents, even if they're not completely done yet, or even if they're not even nearly done yet, and just give us their sort of like current thoughts. Board, what do you make of the internals of the Xi'an cargo bay? That looks like cargo, attaches to floors, walls, ceilings in a honeycomb back. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It looks cool. I like them being like bee bugs. Do you plan to use the Shadow Ghost? I've got one today. I have one in my hand. I was going to, as soon as 3.5 goes to PTU that week, I was planning to get some updated information on Shadow. Make sure it works with 3.5. It's one of them. See if there's any settings it benefits from. Make sure the Shadow Ghost is cool. Because like the Shadow Ghost, obviously a lot smaller than their previous PC replacement box. But they made it like entirely flat. Just like, and it'd be smaller. And I'm very much function over form. Now, this looks kind of cool and very Aegis. Oh, maybe I can justify it because it looks a bit like Aegis. I could put an Aegis logo on it. But yes, I'll be trying one out soon. Feel free to message me about your experience on it. That would be useful. Want to poke me on Discord or contact at BoredGamer.co.uk. Just tell me about your experience with it, how easy it was to set up. Do you have any problems with it? Is it shit? Is it good? Don't worry if you're busy or whatever, it's all good. Deja Vu fan, fix, make ladders work with an inner thought, the F button. Yeah, why not? You just walk up to them and just quick inner thought them as well. Just walk up to something, quick press F, bam, you're on the ladder. Yeah, I actually like that idea. Do you think they will still have the Carrack available for sale after implementation into the game? I think it will be on sale during the limited period, Bible sale, and then only available during sale times. I don't think it will be constantly on sale. There might be a game package with it in. Thank you very much. I love you, dedication. The Carrack is sick. Yes, it looks awesome. Yeah, I agree. Any other questions? Because if there are no other questions, I am going to go eat. But I'm not sure what I'm going to eat. Maybe I'm just going to drink and have a lie down and have some flu capsules. Sorry, I gotta, yeah. Yeah, that's what we want. We just don't want to stick to ladders as we pass them, because fuck that. And we don't want ladders to kill us. Fuck that. I want a quick tap F when I'm near a ladder to go up a ladder. I want it to auto grab me onto one. So I'm talking about all ladders in the game. I'm not talking just about like, the ship ones that come down from the sides of certain ships. I'm talking about the ladders that are inside ships as well. I don't think I've got flu. I think it's got a cold, but obviously I'm a bit run down as well. Summer Yeti. I post videos of my shallow starsets and playtime on my YouTube channel. Summer Yeti, feel free to post your YouTube channel here as well. I will have a look at it. Chuck it down in the description. Fucking people go follow you, like you or something. How do you think the Carax rover should differ from the Urza? It should be exploration orientated. Probably be able to carry some cargo. Be armored against more dangerous environments. Things like that. Probably a bit faster. Maybe have a sensor suite on it or something. 3.5 is already available to Evocati. And unless it went live well, I wasn't looking. Let's just check. That does happen sometimes. No, it hasn't gone live yet. People have been messaging me. Boom. Ron, I love your face. He's so active on my Reddit. Boop. Right, I will put the food in my face. How do you feel about how gravity will affect exploration ships? Ooh, we have to carry a Argo with us to get out of atmosphere. No, I mean, so I suspect that exploration ships that have the purpose of landing on a planet as well as part of their sort of like remit in the way they explore rather than doing expeditions, like supposed to be just in space or whatever, then I suspect they will have good, powerful fuselage thrusters and be able to get out of atmosphere and won't have huge cargo bays so that you can't really weigh the ship down. My dad's doing very well, thanks. He's recovered very well. He does. Had to go see the oncologist. The cancer has spread to his lymph nodes, unfortunately, but it's sort of like it's not a death sentence by any means. It's something that he'll discuss with the oncologist and decide whether he's going to have chemo or potentially some other treatment, or whether he's going to leave it. And it's his decision, and that's what I'll respect it, whatever he wants. He's quite an old boy, so I'm not gonna try to force him into doing something that I want. I'll just support him whatever he wants. Are you happy with the new flight model? Have you had a good chance to check it out extensively? Did you like the testing instructions? And do you think they're doing it right? Can't talk about the specifics of the Evocati. I can only really talk about the flight model in regards to sort of like the reverse that was the other day. I mean, I think that the flight model that they are currently testing on Evocati and they showed on RTV has got potential. I do not think it's necessarily trash. I do think that people aren't going to like change. Well, some people won't like change and some people will be quite happy with it. I think the idea sort of like it does dumb down the flight model in my opinion a bit. But that's not a bad thing at all. It's something that needs to be iterated upon and a bit more refined. So we'll see how that goes throughout the Evocati and PTU phases. But as I said, I can't comment precisely on stuff that's not public knowledge with that flight model. Even though I probably could. You're not going to, because I don't want to break NDA, and I don't want to be a dick, and I don't want other people to think that you're allowed to break NDAs, and I don't want other people to go, oh, BoredGamer, he breaks the NDA. I don't. Fuck off. Is Ain really cute? I don't know what that is. What kind of food? I'm making waffles or tacos. I'm making waffles. I don't know what I'm going to have. Might just be cereal. I feel quite sick, to be honest. But yes, let's go see who is. And I'll answer any more questions, and then we'll call it. Maybe stream a little bit later on with some Apex Legends as well if I feel better this evening, because DC and Zin will be online. We'll give Saurus some love. I haven't fucking seen Saurus for a while. I need to go and fucking give him some fucking love, mate. Please stop having a full Apex time. I'm sorry, Mr. Pinks. I sort of like, feel free just to keep on poking me. And when we're in the Discord, I'll say when we're looking for an extra person. Me and Zin did play a couple of 2-player games yesterday. But I will more actively invite people. I know you're around, so thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Would only dumb down the flight model if it stopped people from crashing into things. Does it do that? If not, then it dumps down combat. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, Flymo. The flight model and combat are separate, and I was talking more about combat, which does require loads of stuff to come together before we can even really talk about ship combat. Aina's my wife, thank you. She's watching her phone while I watch your stream, and she was like, what? Shaka, that's a... Wow. I appreciate being watched by, what, I think it's 1.7% of my viewer base are women's. So I appreciate you, women's. And I appreciate the men as well. Fuck it, I appreciate people. Yeah? Is that good? How's the netcode on Star Citizen here lately? Needs a lot of work. I mean, they're changing loads of stuff with the flight model and stuff, so we need to see how that kind of plays out. Loads of stuff they need to do with the netcode. Looking for a new space game, never played Star Citizen. How's the multiplayer? And would you recommend it for small groups? Yeah, I mean, it works. It's a cool thing. Star Citizen's playable in a group now. It's not a ready proper game by any means. It's sort of like a project that your feedback helps develop. It's very alpha at the moment. There is every 3 months they add more and more to it, and it is very viable for groups and organizations to play it now. However, it's not a sit down and play game. If you want something that's sit down and play game, then maybe look at some of the other space games like No Man's Sky or Eve or Elite Dangerous or something. In a year or so, be much more viable for mainstream people to play it. But do some research, have a look. It's very fun. It's very cool. If you're going in with a group or joining an org, even if you're with a small group, I suggest you join an org together, and then you can have quite a lot of fun. If you had 3 million a year, how much content could you kick out? I mean, if I had a 1 million a year, I'd hire a team of 5 to 10 people, and some of those people would be like Nirian, people like that, sort of styled of getting really cool footage and edits. I'd have someone that does music and art to do all the thumbnails for stuff and all the cool little edits and cuts. And then I have people that are literally producing voiceovers for content and researching every part of the game. I'd have them making a wiki. I'd have them doing lots of different video content, interviewing everyone I could, whether or not they are a dev, an org leader, lots of stuff. There's so much you could do, but you could do content every day easily on Star Citizen. There's so much to do, and you could run events constantly. If I could actually have some reliable people that I was paying to help run events, that'd be amazing. You could do every day. You could do like Rexzilla type content, but even more organized playstyle and scale. You could have more sort of story played, sort of slightly role play type things where players are helping you record things. There's loads of cool content you can do. Think I'm going to go and have a lie down. I've got a fucking headache, got a cold, feel rough. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I very much appreciate it. I love your faces. We are going to go and host Source. But I will try and get a summary of Reverse the Verse, the Game Dev Special, which is 1 hour and 10 minutes on twitch.tv/Star Citizen. They are going to be making a piece of armor with community feedback and sort of guidance live. They're normally pretty cool, the game dev ones they do. I'll get a news update up tomorrow or Sunday. But thank you very much for sticking with me. I know I've been a bit erratic with my dad being ill and being a bit, you know, I'm bipolar. I'm fucking suffer from anxiety, and I get a bit mad sometimes. I'm not supposed to say that, but I do, and I appreciate people giving me a lot of love and a lot of leeway because of that. So thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying my content. Even if you're not, fuck you. You can always get me on contact@boredgamer.co.uk if you want to talk to me about anything, or on my Discord, poke me on there. If you've got an organisation you want me to look at, if you've got a piece of hardware or question about anything, feel free to ask. The worst I can say is, well, just ignore you. But I'll try not to. And thank you so much for all the donations and support I receive. It's amazing. Some of you guys are amazing. Most of you are amazing. But any feedback you can give as well really, really does help. I hope you're cool. I love you guys. And I'll, in the verse. Bam. Dum. Dum, 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 bam. I'm not sure why the EastEnders theme is coming out of my mouth, but I love you guys. See you later.